Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. My name is Asad Malik, and I am the Senior Account Executive here at Pathway, where we work with brokerages to help them streamline workflows, boost efficiency, and improve client communication. And I'm excited to show you how automation can make a huge impact on your business today.
And my name is Dana Velimirovic. I'm the head of sales at Pathway. Thank you for joining us. Our goal today is to give you some useful insights on how automation can simplify your operations, keep clients engaged, and help grow your revenue. We'll also do a live demo so you can see Pathway in action. And please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A so we can tackle them later, during the Q&A section.
Awesome. Yeah. So a quick background on Pathway. We're trusted by over 300 brokerages across Canada, US, and the UK. Our platform integrates with all major broker management systems like Acturus, Epic, SIG, PowerBroker, and more. Our mission is to help brokerages cut down on manual work, reduce errors, and create a smooth, efficient client experience through automation. At the end of the day, it's about freeing up your time so you can focus on what really matters, which are your clients. Now, you may have recently found yourself asking why there is so much chatter about automation in the industry lately. Does it really matter? Will it actually make a difference or an impact? And the answer is absolutely yes. The insurance industry is moving faster than ever before. Clients are becoming more technically advanced and now expect quick, seamless service. And brokerages that don't adapt, unfortunately, risk getting left behind. So this is where automation comes in. It's not just a time saver, it's a game changer. And by handling key interactions like renewals, payment reminders, even upsell or cross-sell opportunities, automation ensures that no critical touch point is missed. So instead of spending time on repetitive manual tasks, your team can focus on what really matters, building strong client relationships and providing a personalized service. And beyond efficiency, automation also plays a crucial role in driving retention, increasing sales, and ensuring compliance. So it helps brokerages stay proactive, it reduces the chance of human error, and keeps everything running smoothly behind the scenes, all in an effort to lighten the workload for your team. So simply put, it allows your brokerage to scale and grow without the growing pains. Now, let's take a look at some key challenges that many brokerages face today. And if any of these sound familiar, you're not alone. Too much manual work. So sending renewals, payment follow-ups, and other repetitive tasks, they just eat up hours every week. Inconsistent client communication. So missed engagement opportunities that can lead to lost sales or coverage gaps. Retention struggles. If clients don't feel engaged, they're more likely to switch providers at renewal time, if not sooner. Errors in renewals and policies. We all know that manual work increases the risk of miscommunication or compliance issues. And another great one is high operational costs, right? Inefficiencies make it harder to grow profitably. So these challenges can all slow down your business, impact client satisfaction, and of course, hurt revenue growth.
And this is where automation comes in. By automating key communications, you can save time and free up your team for higher value tasks like retention, sales, improve client experience, and keep clients engaged with timely, relevant updates. Reduce risks by ensuring important policy details and compliance documents don't get missed. Increase revenue, drive growth by identifying upsell and cross-sell opportunities automatically. And also a big one, enhance reporting and data accuracy. With Pathway, every interaction, every communication is logged, giving you valuable insights.
Exactly. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, Assad and Dana, but what exactly can we automate? And it's a great question. So, the power of automation lies in streamlining those everyday tasks that take up valuable time. Now, let's take a look at some of the core automation features our Pathway clients are using today and how they can make a difference in your brokerage. So, pre renewal campaigns. Keeping clients engaged before their renewal date is key to retention. With automated pre renewal campaigns, clients receive timely reminders and proactive touchpoints, reducing the risk of last minute rushes or policy lapses. But it's more than just reminders. Pathway can also help identify coverage gaps. So, for example, if a home policy is up for renewal without sewer backup coverage, Pathway can flag this and suggest it to both the client and the account manager. It automatically sends a notification via activity and or email and includes a pre-built recommendation in the pre-renewal letter. This way, clients stay informed and your team gets valuable opportunities to enhance coverage. Payment reminders and follow-ups. It's a huge one. But before we get into that, let me just ask a quick question to our attendees. How many hours per week on average do you think your team spends chasing payments?
Okay, let's see. So let me
Mhm.
share the results so everyone can actually see it. So we have quite a few of you said, well, less than 8, between 8 to 12, 36% of you, 21 said between 12 to 16, so that's almost 2 full days weekly, and more than 16, 7% of you. Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, very interesting. And that's a lot of time, right? And that just goes to show that ensuring timely client payments is a labor-intensive task, right? Chasing payments, it takes time. It puts pressure on your team and it disrupts cash flow. So with payment, with Pathway, weekly payment reminders are automated, saving significant time for your support team. Now, this automation will also improve your cash flow, and our users have reported that they've reduced the average number of days an insured takes to make their overdue payments from 6 days past the due date down to 4. And automated payment reminders take the hassle out of collections by reducing late payments, cutting down on follow-ups, and making it easier for clients to pay. You can even include a direct payment link, whether it's to a carrier's payment page for direct bill policies or your brokerage's website for any agency billed accounts. With Pathway, your team stays focused on higher value tasks. Your clients get a seamless payment experience, and your brokerage benefits from improved cash flow. So, document delivery. Pathway makes it simple to send policy documents securely and electronically, giving clients instant access while reducing paperwork. Now, cross-selling and upselling workflows. These are campaigns that are used by each of our broker clients. But before we get into that, let me just ask everyone another question. Do you feel you are maximizing cross-sell and upsell opportunities within your book of business currently?
Oh, we're at 70% answered. Okay, we have some great answers here. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna stop the poll, and again, I'll share the results with everyone.
Mhm.
So we have quite a few of you said yes, absolutely, 32%, which is amazing.
Mhm.
42 said somewhat, and that's some Pathway can help you with that for sure. And 26% of you said not really. Okay, so great.
And nobody said not at all. So that I'm glad. No one said
That's
not at
good.
all.
Yes, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
well, cross-selling or upselling policies, it presents a valuable opportunity to grow your business while simultaneously improving retention rates. Now, it's a straightforward strategy that enhances client engagement and, of course, maximizes portfolio value. Now, with Pathway, you're not just selling more policies, you're strengthening client relationships and ensuring they have the right protection in place when they need it most. Now, we all know that filling out forms manually is a hassle and can lead to errors and delays. So with Pathway, brokers and agents can skip the busy work by using automated pre-filled forms that pull client data and policy details directly from the BMS. So when a broker needs a client to complete a form, whether it's for a policy update, renewal, a claim, or any other request, Pathway automatically fills in all known details. So the client then receives a digital form with their information already in place. So all they need to do is review, confirm, and add any missing details. So it's faster, easier, and it eliminates the unnecessary back and forth. Now, before I get into sharing some key stats, let's go ahead and throw another question out there, Dana. How many emails on average do you think an insurance broker or agent sends on a daily basis?
This is a big one.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone says more than 100.
Well, I may have to have a one-on-one with it.
Okay, we're getting better. We're already at 80%.
Awesome.
And let's give it a second more.
For sure.
We have more than 100.
All right. Well, we can have a one-on-one.
Okay, so I'm going to stop and share results again with everyone so you guys can see. Okay, so 25% of you said between 20 and 30, majority said between 30 and 50 daily. Again, 25% said 50 to 100 and 5% more than 100. That's a lot.
It's a lot for sure. And you know what? You're all pretty much, right on par. So on average, personal lines brokers typically send 30 to 70 emails per day, including client inquiries, policy updates, renewal reminders, and follow-ups. Commercial lines brokers often send 50 to 100 emails per day, as commercial accounts involve more back and forth communication with not only clients, but underwriters and insurers. And then producers or more sales focused brokers or agents, they may send anywhere between 20 to 50 emails per day, focusing on prospecting, quoting, and follow ups. Now, of course, there are always going to be some emails that can't be automated. However, well over 50% of them can be. So, to show you the impact of automation, here are some key numbers from our Pathway users currently. To keep clients informed and engaged, Pathway sends over 2 million emails per month on average. In an effort to reduce paperwork and increase efficiency, Pathway successfully sends on average over 100,000 documents per month. To help with streamlining data entry and client interactions, over 70,000 forms are completed each month. And this one's huge. Brokerages that are using 7 or more workflows have seen retention increase by 3% or more in their first year, which is just proof that automation strengthens client relationships. Now, these stats, they help us understand that automation isn't just about efficiency. It helps you grow and scale in a competitive market. So at this point here, now that we have a solid overview, let's get into the fun stuff. So Dana will provide us with a live demo where she will walk us through how to set up workflows, automate client communication, and exactly how Pathway integrates with your BMS.
Awesome. Thank you, Sad. Okay, so let's switch screens. Hopefully I did that right. Okay, so right now I'm in my Pathway demo account. So this is how Pathway UI looks like. So I'll show you quite a few options today. Let's see how much we can cover. So we were mentioning as one of the examples previously, example of a workflow where brokers can save a lot of time on a daily basis. We said what the average was 12 to 16 hours weekly. So automating payment reminders. This is how a very simple payment reminders workflow can look like. And to just dive into the details here. For any workflow, we're of course deciding what is the client profile, who do we want to target here. We'll talk more about segmentation in a bit, but let's say here we have clients that are late with a payment. They're late, email number 1 goes out, but then the workflow can continue where we're saying, okay, a week later, let's have a condition where Pathway will go back to your BMS and check again. So it will depend, of course, on your management system, what condition exactly do we have here. But basically, Pathway goes back, reads your management system data once again. And if this client is still late with a payment 7 days later, then they're receiving email number 2. Maybe here you want to send a text message as well. So because now they're late for a week or longer, they're receiving an email and a text message. Then we continue with the workflow. If, again, a week later, so now we are at week 3, if they're still late, so here we will again have a condition where Pathway goes back to check again if they're still late. Email number 3 goes out, and maybe here we want to have an internal action, let's call it like that, where Pathway is generating an activity, a abeyance, a log, a memo, again, depending on your system, basically an alert for your team to let them know, okay, so this client received 3 emails, they're late for X number of days, and you can provide instructions to them what they need to do. There is more on what we can do to alert your team internally, but again, we'll talk about that in a bit. So this was an example of how workflow that's already active can look like, but let's see how we can build a workflow from scratch. So when we want to build a workflow, and again, just to show you how user-friendly the UI is, we'll build one from scratch. But just so you know, there is a lot of templates that you can use from day one, depending on what is the process you're looking to automate. So we have renewals, e-deliveries, payments, welcoming, prospecting, cross-sells, you name it, we probably have a template. But like I said, if we want to build one from scratch, let's do it. Let's see how that looks like. So we mentioned a few times that Pathway has amazing integrations with every major management system out there in the market. So Actuaries, Power Brokers, SIG, Epic, TAM, Sagita, Hawksoft, and quite a few more. Why is that important? Because at this stage, when we're setting up these workflows, Pathway has access to your data and you can use it. For starters, when we want to decide, okay, we're working on a workflow, who do we want to target here? So we're going to set up a set of conditions, filters, that a contact, I'm saying a contact because this can be a lost client or a prospect, so not just an active client, that they need to match in order to be pulled in to this workflow. So Pathway is syncing with your system daily, and is looking for all the contacts that match these conditions. Just to give you some examples, very basic ones, how this segmentation can look like. So we can use contact details, policy details. So let's say we want to start with some geography maybe, and then we want to use some policy details. So maybe specific companies, so insurer code, is or is not, and then here we will have again your data. This is my demo data. A very common filter would be premium, and then we can say premium is greater than, lesser than a specific value. You can use, again, depending on your system, so policy details, contact details, opportunities, activities, billing data, e-docs, agency-defined categories, RFQs. again, everything that we have available in the sync can be used for segmentation purposes. And this is why brokers are using Pathway. So the easiness of using the data that you already have. So that's the segmentation part. Again, depending on what we're looking to do here, what this workflow is about, we're going to have different segmentation examples, right? And even if it is a single workflow, if it, let's say we're talking about renewals, you're probably going to have multiple renewal workflows with different segments included because you don't want to communicate with every client in the same manner, right? And then because these workflows, once activated, tested and activated, they're going to be running in the background. So we also need a trigger. So what event, what set of data, again, is activating this workflow. So depending on the process, we're going to have different triggers here. So we can use all the dates, the earliest effective renewal, cancellation, e-docs, activities. So call the balances in Pathway. In other systems, you might have logs, tasks, quote requests. So all of these can be used as a trigger. So let's select one. So let's say here we want to build a renewable workflow. We have set up the filters. Who do we want to target? We have our trigger. And let's say with filters, we additionally have one that is saying this workflow should be activated 60 days before the renewal date. And then we say, okay, so what is the first step here? Maybe the first step should be to send them an email. So what a lot of our users is doing, they have automated pre-renewal reminders. Again, Assad was mentioning those as well. So for every email, you can also set up, so who is the sender? What will the client see when they're receiving this email? So even though we're trying to automate as much as possible, you still want to keep that personal touch. So from email address, reply to email address, we can use CSR producer associated with the client. So when the client is receiving an email, it's coming from a familiar email address, a familiar name, the person they're typically communicating with. CC and BCC, you can also use it. Again, you might have for UK brokers, if we have any of them today on the call, account handlers. For Canada, it will be CSRs, producers. So we can select who do we want to have copied on this email. Do we want to have a BCC as well? A big one, not many platforms out there offer this. You can actually select the time when this email should go out, so you don't have emails going out in the middle of the night. You can skip weekends. So all of those options are customizable. To quickly show you the email editor, so I won't spend too much time here, but just again for you to see how easy it is to build the content. We have these building blocks where you can easily drag and drop different blocks here, and then you can edit text, images. And what you see here, this is a merge tag. So this is how we're actually, again, using your data to personalize the content that is going out. So is it going to be client details, policy details, coverage details, billing data, whatever we need, we can pull it in from your system. So when the client is receiving this email, it's filled with their personal details, and it's not a generic automated message. We also mentioned coverage recommendations. So just to show you, let's say this is a workflow that we have prepared for homeowners. They're receiving this email 60 days before the renewal date. But you may want to add additional recommendations for some of those homeowners that are receiving this email, depending on the previous example we used was if they have the sewer backup. So what we can do here is we can set up a condition for those clients that are receiving this email. If they are missing sewer backup coverage, this is a recommendation we would like to add. Save it and add it. And then we can add more. So we can say, okay, for those that have a liability limited less than a specific value and maybe additionally are insured with a specific company, this is a recommendation we would like to add, and so on. So why is this relevant? Because this way you can further customize the content and make sure it is relevant. So when the client is receiving this email, first of all, they have their personal details, but then also they have recommendations that make sense, right? Recommendations about the coverage they are actually missing. And because with Pathway, everything is recorded and documented in terms of E&O, this is huge as well. So whenever we're building an email, we can do a preview. We can see how that final email will look like. So my nick here in my demo account is not missing any of the coverages we were mentioning before. So therefore, those recommendations are not included. But what brokers, again, are very commonly doing with Pathway when it comes to these pre-renewal reminders, they're using our forms to ask their clients if there are any changes on their end. Now, those forms can, again, be fully designed however you would like them to look like. And all the data that we have in the sync from your management system can also be used to personalize these forms and, again, to keep the content relevant. What we have here is a very simple example of how those forms can look like with a few questions. But for the clients, this is an extremely user-friendly way of providing updates, right? So they can do this on their desktop, on their mobile. They can go through these questions, submit their answers, and they're done. Additional functionalities here. So if they're providing a specific answer, you may have a follow-up question. So a very plastic example, have you made any changes to your living environment? If a client is saying no, all good, move on. But if they say yes, we have a hidden question popping up, right? And of course, this can be a lot more complex, but this allows you to keep these forms dynamic and, again, get all the updates you need. All of your questions can be required or only some of them, whatever makes more sense. If a question is required, there needs to be a value provided here. And on their end, again, they just need to click complete and they're done. Of course, this message can be further customized. What do you want them to have on the screen? So what happens when a client completes a form? Again, depending on your system, but generally speaking, Pathway will send an email instantly with all the answers collected to, again, depending on your setup, to the CSR producer, a team member working with the client. And within 1 hour, for most of the systems that we integrate with, within 1 hour, you will have an update pushed back to your system. So again, it might be a task, an activity, a log with a link to the completed questionnaire, or with some, it can be an actual attachment of the form that has been completed. So all of this is happening instantly, automatically, no need for your team to do anything else here. Back to our workflow. Let's say we have prepared our email template, we have our questionnaire, we're good to go. We can activate it and move further with the setup. So back, a recap quickly here. We have our segment, we have our trigger, we have our email. And then, okay, what should happen next here? First of all, Pathway is tracking every outcome. So what happened with that email? What happened with that questionnaire? So all those outcomes can be used to set up what will be the next step here, right? So first of all, probably you want to make sure, especially for transactional communication, that email has been delivered. If that email wasn't delivered, you want to set up a process, what needs to happen here. So typically what we're seeing brokers doing, you would have either an update pushed back to your system, abeyance activity, and so on, and or an email alert sent to your team. So you can provide instructions to them, let them know, hey, this is what happened, the email wasn't delivered, you need to check in with the client, whatever makes more sense, right? And again, you can select a specific team member, so you don't have to, again, no manual work here. We're going to look for a CSR producer handler associated with the client. But going back to our condition here, where we were checking if email was delivered, hopefully you don't have that many invalid email addresses. So emails are going through, email has been delivered. Here we had a questionnaire that we needed them to answer. So probably you're going to give them a few days to complete that questionnaire. So let's say we go with 5. You can have as many as it makes sense. And the next step here can be, okay, we gave them a few days. Let's check if they actually completed the questionnaire. Because let's face it, not all of them are going to complete it after email 1. So if the questionnaire was completed, do you need any additional activity here? Because your team is already alerted, they received an email, they have it pushed back to the system, so maybe you don't need any additional steps here. But if the questionnaire was not completed, what do you want to happen here? What we're seeing with our users, typically it would be another email going out. So again, you can either use the same template or you can change the content. Again, set up what do we want to have here, senders, recipients, and so on. So automatically, for those where they have received the email, questionnaire was not completed after 5 days, system will automatically send them a reminder. And then again, we can just repeat the whole process. So say, okay, let's check a few days later, was the questionnaire completed again? Here I missed a weight chip. So if the questionnaire is not completed after another 5 days, what do you want to do here? Maybe you want to send another email, or maybe now you want your team to jump in and again, create an activity, a Behance for them, send them an email alert or both. And maybe you also want to send a text message to the client. So SMS is now widely used by many Pathway users, typically as a backup channel if email is not going through. But all the data that we have in the sync, all the data that we have access to in your BMS can also be used for SMS. So merge tags where we can personalize the content. And those questionnaires, links, they can also be part of your text messages. So that was a quick rundown to show you how we can build this workflow. More about questionnaires. So typically when we're talking about questionnaires, we always talk about pre-renewal ones, but a few more examples how those can be used. For example, if you would like your clients to update their contact details, here is an example of a sustainability form where, again, quite a few questions here. We have an example of a claims follow-up. So these forms can definitely be used for transactional communication like renewals, but also for marketing purposes, for updating contact details, or again, whatever makes sense here. Another example, a workflow that we were mentioning previously was e-delivery. So this is, again, brokers are reporting that they're saving on average 3 minutes per document delivery. So this might not seem like a lot, but when you think about, we didn't have that question, but when you think about how many documents your team is sending out weekly, monthly, it's quite a number probably. So how it works with Pathway. Of course, there is a very detailed setup where we are making sure that the system is picking up only on the documents you would like your clients to receive, and we can set up further the timing when they should go out. And the final product can look something like this. So, hi, your policy has been reissued or issued. For your convenience, we now offer digital policy documents. Of course, you can customize the content of the email, but instead of attaching those documents to the email, there would be this unique link. So behind this button, download now, when they click on it, they will have access to their documents in PDF. So they can easily download them, store them on their device. So there is no need for them to log in. They don't need a username, a password. So easily, instantly from their email, they can access their documents. Now, due to security reasons, of course, this link will expire after 48 hours. Once that happens, they will have just a different screen where they're being redirected to request a new email with a new link, which again, they will automatically receive. So still they will have access to their documents. whenever they need it. And I would like to mention another email example here. So we talked a lot about transactional communication. We did mention some cross-selling and upselling previously, but with Pathway, you can definitely do a lot when it comes to marketing. And for example, if you would like to improve your online reviews, you can definitely use NPS within Pathway. So this is an example how that email can look like. With NPS, you may be familiar with it or maybe not. With NPS, you can ask your clients how satisfied they are with the service on a scale from 0 to 10. Now, depending on their rating, we can have detractors from 0 to 6. So those are very low ratings. They're not happy with the service. 7s and 8s are passives, and 9s and 10s are promoters. Now, obviously, we want as many 9s and 10s as possible, right? But what we can do here, so if a client is receiving this email and they click on 9 or 10, we can immediately ask them to leave an online review. But if their rating is lower, we can have a different form where we're going to ask them to tell us why they're not satisfied with the service. Now, this is a private information your team will be receiving, so this is not posted publicly. But if their rating was a high one, they can go and leave an online review without, again, any intervention on your end. So this will help you boost your online reviews at the same time and collect valuable feedback from your clients and eventually help you identify those that are at risk of leaving and help you improve your retention rates. There's a lot more I would like to show you, but I'm going to wrap up with the dashboard and the data you would actually have access to. So in your Pathway account, you would be able to see, so for a specific time frame, exactly what is the performance. So how many emails has been sent, open rates, click rates, for the most engaged contacts, what exactly is the activity we've seen here. For each and every client, what emails have they received, if there was any engagement, timestamps available. So all of this is available in your Pathway account, would be available in your Pathway account. Also, it would be pushed back to your system, assuming we have a two-way sync. We do with all the ones we previously mentioned. But you can also further, if you would like to receive additional reports, you can set up what activities you're interested in. So is it only opens or clicks or bounces? Set up automated reports, the frequency, so you can receive them daily, weekly, monthly, as frequently as it makes sense. You will also have locations, devices they're using for text messages, a separate section for NPS that we were just talking about. You will be able to see what is the percentage of your satisfied customers, passive, detractors, unhappy ones. So this is not a good percentage. You can see, again, all of the ratings, the comments your clients have provided. You can download reports and have some additional data included in those reports. For forms, again, you can select a specific questionnaire you would like to analyze, and you can see what were the questions, what were the answers. Here we have 49% that said yes. Who are those people exactly? Very soon, you will be able to use these answers to further segment your clients and follow up with them in a specific manner. But then you can also pull out some additional stats. Again, on a client level, you can see if they received the questionnaire, if they completed it, and what interactions we had there. So I'm wrapping up the demo part with that for now. Asad, back to you. Let me again.
Good. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Dana. That was great. Now, before we wrap up, here's just a quick recap of what Pathway can bring to the table, right? So say goodbye to manual follow-ups and data entry by automating those tedious routine tasks. Keep messaging timely and personalized without extra effort by enhancing client communication. And of course, without any hesitation, you can enjoy a smooth experience that doesn't disrupt your existing workflows as Pathway seamlessly integrates with your BMS. I hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy the week ahead.
Thank you. Have a great everyone. Thank you.
See you.